Stop scrolling. I need to ask you something that's going to permanently change how you see the world. Do you believe being good keeps you safe? That kindness protects you? That generosity builds loyalty? That honesty earns respect? If you answered yes to any of those, you've been living inside the most dangerous lie society has ever told you. And today, that lie ends. Drop this in the comments right now. I choose strategic goodness. Let's begin. The brutal truth nobody tells you. The biggest mistake good people make is believing that being good means being safe. It doesn't. Niccolò Machiavelli figured this out centuries ago. He watched good leaders fall. He saw kind rulers destroyed. He witnessed generous people betrayed by the very ones they helped most. And he wrote every bit of it down. Today, I'm sharing what he discovered. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn why your goodness is actually making you weak, why people don't respect your kindness, they exploit it, and most importantly, how to transform goodness from your greatest vulnerability into your most powerful weapon. But let me be clear about one thing before we go any further. I'm not telling you to become evil. I'm not asking you to hurt people. What I'm showing you is how to be good strategically, not blindly. Because in a world full of wolves, being a sheep doesn't make you noble. It gets you eaten alive.
Number 1. Goodness as exposure. Think about the kindest person you know. Now ask yourself honestly, are they truly respected, or are they just the person everyone calls when they need something? Here's the brutal reality. Being consistently kind makes you predictable, and predictable people get taken advantage of. When you never say no, people stop asking. They just assume. When you never push back, people stop wondering if you will. When you never show teeth, the world decides you don't have any. You become the office doormat, the friend who always picks up the check, the family member who says yes to helping even when it's destroying them. I once knew a man, the best team manager I'd ever seen. He always helped his team, always covered for them, always put their needs above his own. You know what happened? They promoted someone else over him. Why? Because nice people don't look like leaders. They look like servants. Machiavelli said it perfectly. The lion cannot protect himself from traps, and the fox cannot defend himself from wolves. One must therefore be a fox to recognize traps and a lion to frighten wolves. You've been trying to survive as a sheep in a world that respects lions. That's exactly why you keep getting hurt. Drop this in the comments. I protect my energy.
Number 2. The generosity trap. Here's something that's going to blow your mind. The more you give to people, the less they appreciate it. I know that sounds backwards. Hear me out. When you help someone once, they're grateful. When you help them twice, they're thankful. When you help them 10 times, they start expecting it. Your exceptional kindness becomes their new normal. And if you ever stop, they don't remember the 9 times you said yes, they remember the 1 time you said no. Suddenly, you're the selfish one. You're the villain. Think about parents who give their kids everything. The first gift is exciting. The second is appreciated. By the 10th, it's just what mom and dad do. And the first time they say no, the kids call them unfair. The same thing happens at work. You always stay late. Staying late becomes your baseline. Nobody celebrates it. But leave on time once, and suddenly you're not committed. In relationships, you always compromise. Compromise becomes the expectation. But stand your ground once, and you're being difficult. This is the generosity trap. You give and give until giving becomes your entire identity. And the moment you need to receive, or even just stop giving, you become the villain in everyone else's story. Your constant generosity doesn't build loyalty, it builds addiction. And like any addict, people get angry when their supply gets cut off. Machiavelli understood this. Benefits ought to be conferred gradually, and in that way, they will taste better. Scarcity creates value. Abundance destroys it. Drop this in the comments. I give strategically.
Number 3. The mask of virtue. Here's a truth that's going to make you uncomfortable. Society doesn't care if you're actually good. They care if you look good. People don't judge your heart, they judge your image. Look at the most successful people you know. Do you think they got there by being genuinely nice to everyone? No. They got there by being smart about when, how, and to whom they showed their goodness. They smile in public and make hard decisions in private. They show mercy when it serves them. They show strength when it's needed. They understand that the appearance of virtue is often more powerful than virtue itself. Think about it like this. A surgeon cuts you open to save your life. Is the surgeon being cruel? No. They're doing what needs to be done, even if it causes temporary pain. Real leaders understand that sometimes being truly good means looking temporarily bad. Sometimes helping someone means saying no to them. Sometimes protecting your team means making unpopular decisions. The mask of virtue isn't about deception, it's about timing, knowing when to show your soft side and when to show your steel. Most people get this completely backwards. They show weakness to enemies and strength to friends. Smart people do the exact opposite. Machiavelli said, "Everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are." If people perceive you as weak, you become weak. If they perceive you as strong, you become strong. Perception doesn't just influence reality, it is reality. Drop this in the comments. I control my image. Number 4. The economics of power. Every single thing you do has a cost. Every favor you grant, every yes when you wanted to say no, every hour you spent helping others instead of building yourself. Most good people never think about this. They give and give and give until they have nothing left. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted, resentful, and taken advantage of. Here's the mathematical truth. Your time, energy, and resources are finite. When you spend them on others, you have less for yourself. This isn't selfish to acknowledge. It's just reality. Think about airplane safety instructions. Put your oxygen mask on first, then help others. Why? Because if you pass out trying to help someone else first, now 2 people need rescuing instead of 1. Life works exactly the same way. I learned this the hard way. For years I said yes to everyone, every request, every favor, every quick question that turned into hours of work. I thought I was being good. But you know what happened? I started resenting people. My own project suffered. My own dreams got delayed. And the painful irony, I became less able to help the people who actually needed me. That's when I finally understood. Saying yes to everyone means saying no to yourself. The most generous people in history weren't the ones who said yes to everything. They were the ones who said no to most things, so they could say yes to the right things in a massive, meaningful way. Machiavelli said, "He who wishes to be obeyed must know how to command." You cannot command others if you cannot command your own time, energy, and resources. Drop this in the comments. I protect my resources. Number 5. Strategic virtue. I'm not telling you to throw away mercy, honesty, or generosity. I'm telling you to use them like weapons. A sword sitting on a shelf doesn't protect anyone, but a sword in the hands of a skilled warrior at precisely the right moment can save a kingdom. Your goodness should work the same way, intentional, precise, and powerful. Instead of helping everyone a little bit, help the right people a lot. Instead of being nice to everyone, be exceptionally kind to those who matter. Instead of saying yes to everything, say yes powerfully to the things that align with your goals. This approach does 3 things simultaneously. Your help becomes more valuable because it's scarce. You create bigger actual impact because you're focused, and people respect you more because you're selective. Think about history's most respected figures. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't gentle with injustice. He confronted it with ferocious power. Mother Teresa didn't try to help everyone in the world. She focused with laser intensity on the poorest of the poor. They were good people, but they were strategically good. Before you say yes to any request, ask yourself 3 questions. Does this align with my values and goals? Can I do this without depleting myself? Will this person truly appreciate what I'm giving? If the answer to any of those is no, you say no, kindly, firmly, without guilt. And when you do say yes, you give your absolute best. You create real, lasting value. You make your yes mean something. That's how your yeses become memorable. That's how your generosity creates loyalty instead of entitlement. Drop this in the comments. I choose effective kindness.
Number 6. The illusion of gratitude. Here's something that will permanently change how you see human nature. Gratitude has an expiration date. The favors you do, the help you provide, the sacrifices you make, they fade in people's memories faster than you think. Repeated favors stop feeling like gifts and start feeling like obligations. Thank you so much becomes you should do this, becomes why didn't you do this? You help your neighbor move, incredibly grateful. You help them again 6 months later, still thankful but less excited. Third time, they expect it. Fourth time, they don't even ask, they just assume. And if you can't help, suddenly you're the one who let them down. This isn't cruelty, this is human psychology. We have something called hedonic adaptation. We get used to good things quickly. What felt special becomes normal. What felt generous becomes expected. Your consistent kindness doesn't accumulate into deeper appreciation, it becomes invisible. But your single act of saying no, that stands out like a siren. That's what they remember. That's what they tell people about. The people who appreciate you most are often the people you help least frequently. The people who take you for granted are almost always the ones you help most often. This doesn't mean people are evil. It means people are human. Understanding this doesn't mean you stop being kind. It means you stop being foolishly consistent. Set boundaries. Make your help conditional sometimes. Let people experience what life looks like when you're not there to solve every problem for them. Drop this in the comments. I create lasting impact. Number 7. Results over intentions. The world judges outcomes, not motives. You might have the purest heart alive, but if your actions don't create the results you want, none of that matters. History doesn't remember people who meant well. It remembers people who got things done. Let me ask you something directly. Would you rather be remembered as someone who was really nice but didn't accomplish much, or someone who might have seemed tough but actually made the world better? Most people choose nice because it feels safer. Here's what they miss. Being remembered as just nice means being forgotten entirely. Sometimes being truly good means doing things that don't look good in the moment. A parent who disciplines their child isn't being mean. They're teaching lessons that will protect that child for life. A teacher who gives tough grades isn't being cruel. They're preparing students for a world that doesn't grade on effort. A boss who sets high standards isn't being unreasonable. They're building people who can actually perform when it counts. Real goodness is about results, not appearances. And here's the distinction that changes everything. Nice people avoid conflict. Good people resolve it. Nice people tell people what they want to hear. Good people tell people what they need to hear. Nice people maintain the status quo. Good people create positive change. The world is overflowing with nice people who accomplish nothing. What the world desperately needs is good people who get results. Stop asking, will they like me? Start asking, will this actually make things better? Drop this in the comments. I focus on outcomes. Let's talk about what really matters. How you'll be remembered. What you'll leave behind. History doesn't honor the merely good. It honors those who survived, endured, and turned their goodness into something that outlasted them. Here's a question.
Can you name 5 genuinely nice people from history? Probably not. But you can probably name 5 people who created lasting change, even if they weren't always pleasant to deal with. Steve Jobs was demanding, perfectionist, and often brutally difficult, but he created products that reshaped how billions of people live. I'm not saying be mean to people. I'm saying being remembered for making a difference is better than being forgotten for being agreeable. And here's what most people never understand about legacy. You can't leave a positive mark on the world if you don't survive long enough to make one. The kindest people can't help anyone if they get crushed by those who exploit them. The most generous people can't give if they give everything away too soon. The most honest people can't speak truth if they get silenced by those who prefer comfortable lies. You have to survive first, then thrive, then build the legacy you actually want. Protect yourself so you can protect others. Build yourself so you can lift others up. Get strong so you can actually help the weak. That's not selfish, that's strategic. Machiavelli said, "It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both." What he really meant was this: respect matters more than affection. Impact matters more than popularity. Results matter more than feelings. You don't have to choose between being good and being strong. You can be both. You should be both. But if you ever have to choose, choose strength first. Because strength gives you the power to be good when it actually counts. Weakness just makes you a victim, even with the best intentions in the world. Drop this in the comments. I master strategic goodness. The final decision. We've covered everything today. Goodness as exposure, the generosity trap, the mask of virtue, the economics of power, strategic virtue, the illusion of gratitude, results over intentions, legacy and survival. Here's what it all comes down to. Goodness without strategy is the most dangerous trap you can fall into. It makes you vulnerable to those who exploit you. It drains your resources until you have nothing left. It creates expectations you can't sustain. And ultimately, it prevents you from creating the positive impact you actually want to make. But goodness with strategy? That becomes a weapon of survival and influence, a tool for real change, the foundation for a life that actually matters. You now know the shocking cost of blind goodness. You understand why generosity can trap you, why gratitude fades, and why good intentions without good results are worthless. More importantly, you know what to do about it. So here's the only question that matters now, the one that will determine your future. Will you let goodness weaken you, or will you master it and turn it into power? The choice is yours, but now, for the first time, you have the knowledge to choose wisely. In a world full of wolves, don't be a sheep, be a shepherd, someone who protects the flock, not through weakness, but through wisdom, strategy, and strength. If this video challenged how you see the world, hit like. If you want more truth that actually makes you think, subscribe and ring the bell. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them today. Your goodness is not your weakness. When used strategically, it becomes your greatest strength. I master strategic goodness. Drop it in the comments. Say it out loud. Mean it. See you in the next one.